Perfect.
That was a baby bird.
Really good. That was really good. All right. Hello and welcome to episode 129 of Random Encounter, the RPG Fan Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Steinman.
We have the boards.
Colin has been asking to do that, so we decided to let him do it. All right. So we have an absurdly large number of people here in the hotel room at E3. So I'm going to go around the room, let everybody introduce themselves. Listeners, I'm going to do my best to make sure you're going to have to deal with a lot of new voices here. I'm going to do my best to call people out as we're talking right now, but right now, for general introductions, we're starting out right here to my right.
I am Derek. E3 is East-E with friends like these Heemsbergen.
Just skipping over Fenner, apparently. All right.
No, he said
You
you
said
were
we were starting
first.
with Derek.
Yeah, but I pointed to you.
Oh.
All right, so Derek just introduced himself. Now Fenner.
I'm Robert Fenner. I don't know why we're all naked, but I don't have any complaints about it.
Oh, boy. Okay. Ravens, go.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm Monsoon on the boards, and I deliberately wore a Baltimore Ravens shirt to annoy Rob.
That is true, but the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. Nothing can annoy me right now. Moving on to Xbox
That's
One.
not
Xbox
true.
One,
That's
Xbox
not
One,
true.
Xbox One, Xbox One.
I'm Colin Burns, Pale Robbie on the boards.
I deserve that. I deserve that.
Following that, we have...
Alright, I'm John Ellis, John A on the boards, and we're enjoying really cheap beer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's right. He's 100% right.
Colin has poor taste, so...
I'm Stephanie Spidlow, I'm Dice on the boards, and even though everybody else is naked, they're the only one that asked me to wear a sweater.
Damn. Whoa.
So sorry.
Just stunned silence.
We also have...
I'm Peter Triesenberg. I have here on the boards, also enjoying the cheap beer and nakedness in general.
We're going to be lit by the end of this.
Woo! Drink up, everybody, drink up.
Last and absolutely least, we have...
Mike Salpato, former host of Rhythm Encounter. I'm Mike on the boards.
I'm just kidding.
All right. So last year what we did was we decided, okay, let's do all the awards for E3, and it was a really good conversation, a lot of excitement in the room, a lot of swearing in the room, and then we said, wow, we really should have recorded that. So I guess this year we're actually going to record that. We're going to upload this. This is kind of our end of E3 talk, going through all the awards, talking about things that we enjoyed, things we didn't enjoy. Yes, we are going to talk about the crowds at some point. I think that's going to be toward the end of the show as we go to the negative awards. So, the first award we did last year. And the format of this is going to be people throw out names, and we are going to... That's the siren in the background. They're not coming for Peter. Everybody's fine, all right?
I mean,
It is Los
they
Angeles.
could be,
They
but
could be.
they haven't found me yet.
We're okay.
Yeah.
We're okay.
We're locked in.
So, we're going to start off. We're going to start off with the first award we did last year. People are going to throw out games that they want to talk about, and then we're going to argue them. Persona 5 should have won last year for Game of the Year, and I'm still salty about it. All right, so here we go. Most surprising reveal of E3 2017.
Oh, it doesn't have to be RPG, but it's
That's-
Metroid.
Yeah, this goes for the goddamn
Both
crowd.
Metroids.
That's probably
yeah.
true.
That
but
is
yeah.
true, though.
For our coverage, though.
For our cup. Do we want to keep this to coverage? Because we did give it to God of War last year, and it is an RPG.
But we think
We still don't know that.
We think we might. So we should not include Metroid, even though I want to.
It's an RPG.
So this is most surprising reveal?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Metroidvania.
If I might,
It would have to be Metroid.
Yeah, because I don't feel like Xenoblade had a blowout, but it wasn't a reveal.
well, the reveal that it was making its release date,
The
within
reveal
a year
that it
still,
exists for real, yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're all kind of a little stunned about that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think Metroid was the only one that legitimately had me like, oh wow, really?
Yeah.
They did
Have
that?
you used a certain aspect as the most surprising reveal?
What?
Like what?
Like what?
Like the Xenoblade's release date.
that it's still this year?
That's
Okay,
Yeah.
I actually like that.
Yeah.
because we were saying there was no way in hell that was coming
Yeah.
out this year.
It's a real game, and a lot of it's in English already. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's
Right,
still
right.
pretty good.
Nino Kuni 2 has just kind of snuck up on us, and it's going to be out this October, so...
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
also,
then
it's
isn't-
really coming out real quick.
When is Xenoblade?
And they
Oh,
just said
holiday.
this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
holiday.
is that the same month as Ni no Kuni? Because
It
if
might
so, yikes.
I think you were referring to Samus Returns when you said Metroid, but really it was a double Metroid reveal.
It was,
Which
yeah.
might make it all the more surprising, because when do we get a new Metroid game?
That's true, we did
Sure.
not expect Prime.
Or Samus Returns. Did
Yeah.
anyone expect a remake of the Game Boy Metroid?
I
That
still,
got canceled.
I still
That
can't
was
believe it
very
happened. I still can't believe it happened.
And it
Me
looks
either.
so good.
It does look really
And it
good.
looks
Yeah.
so good.
Well, I would say, yeah, I would put forth Xenoblade Chronicles 2 release date as the most surprising reveal in terms of our coverage.
All right, so do we keep this to coverage, or do we...
Well,
This
if
is
it's
a
gonna,
free-for-all.
if it's going
I'm
to tie
that.
into our actual awards.
I think we're conscious of the fact that we have to cover what we got to cover. So it's
All right, so Metroid
free
gets
for all.
sidelined.
So
I mean,
Xenoblade
there
and
weren't
Nino Kuni are
really-
gonna win everything.
There weren't
More
really
or
any
less.
RPG
That's what was there.
surprises this
All
year.
right.
Oh, Monster Hunter.
Ooh.
Oh,
that was gonna have
Did we cover
Hey.
it this year? Because now it's a Dark Souls clone.
Hey! Don't disparage the Dark Souls.
Is it Dark
The
Souls
games
clone?
industry has done a good enough job of doing that without me, sir.
Oh,
I would
They-
hesitate to call it a Dark Souls clone. I was definitely surprised by it, but I mean,
It's not Code Vein.
but I mean, Capcom
Sure.
announces a Monster Hunter every year. When does Nintendo announce a Metroid?
But we don't cover Metroid.
But when was the
And
last
this is the
time-
first Monster Hunter that's multi-platform, right?
Okay, so can we say
When was the last time we
as
had a
far as
console
coverage, Monster
Monster
Hunter, as far as not coverage, Metroid?
This is the first time we've had a Sony Monster Hunter in 6 years, but we did have a Wii U one a couple years ago.
What about?
Is this the first PC one?
More than a
No,
couple.
there's
Oh.
an online MMO Monster Hunter called Monster Hunter Frontier that's been around for like almost a decade.
What about if we're going to go for coverage? Because I still think we're having a debate about what to do with the actual award. What if we go for coverage? Xenoblade's release date. It's actually happening. Okay, and runner-up because we usually do runner-ups on these Monster Hunter World.
I mean,
hear what you said, but
unless
yes.
I can think of something else, then sure.
I mean, Fenner said it a second ago, right? There weren't a whole lot of reveals at this E3. And especially when it comes to RPGs, there wasn't a lot of, like, really surprising stuff. But we were all blown away watching that Nintendo Direct when all of a sudden a game that we're like, that's not coming out.
Yeah.
We hear English voice acting, and it was wonderful British English voice acting, which we're all
As
very
it should
happy
be,
about.
yeah.
You know, it looks like a Tales game, but that we can't hold that against it.
We can, and I will.
Okay.
And will. Do.
So I would say Xenoblade Chronicles 2, not the worst title, release date, and then Monster Hunter World for the runner-up.
I would flip it because just because we already knew about Xenoblade 2, it was a known quantity that we're all anticipating.
Did you just argue that Monster Hunter is not a known quantity?
Yep, we have
But
entered the Negaverse.
we did not know about the existence of the game before the show.
Darkest timeline.
It seemed like Monster Hunter was relegated to handheld status.
So it coming back to
Ish.
console is a big deal.
It is a
I
big deal.
think coming back to Sony is a huge deal because it's been Nintendo only since 2011.
And they did say that Xenoblade would be out by the end of 2017, and
We
now
just
we've
didn't-
just
we just didn't buy it.
That's just been confirmed.
So,
still don't buy
so
it.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is actually all caps coming out in 2017 is the reveal.
Yeah, I think
mean-
so.
So but does confirming existing information count as the biggest
Just you wait, it's
surprise?
going to get delayed till 2018. then.
Most likely, as soon as we get this award.
I mean, I have an unpopular one.
And that is?
The Final Fantasy 15 VR fishing game. Surprising. I don't think
It was
it's
definitely
Exciting, but
surprising.
it's surprising.
I
You didn't
know
say we
it's-
want
I
to
didn't
play
realize
it.
that it still exists.
They did also. I mean, so there was the reveal of Pokemon Ultra Sun Ultra Moon before the show. So if that had been part of the show, I would say we could count that.
Was there
but,
any news on Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon?
Not during the
No.
show. But then they also
Come on.
confirmed the existence of a Switch Pokemon mainline game.
But
But
they
I wouldn't
showed
really
nothing.
call that
It's
a
not even
reveal.
Yeah,
that,
at
that was
this
just them
point.
saying, "Hey, we're working on it."
Yeah,
And that's
so.
not very surprising.
We kind of knew.
Oh my god, the biggest reveal. Oh, we don't cover Shadow of the Colossus. That was the biggest surprise for me, I think, now that I think about it.
Surprising, not the biggest though. I'm happy. There's a plan for it though.
All right,
What
so
about Mario and Luigi?
Why are your clams so happy?
Oh yeah, Mario Luigi Superstar Saga
Dreams-
remake
yeah,
plus Bowser's
not
Minions.
Superstar.
The Fury is back, ladies and gentlemen,
That's pretty surprising.
and he's coming back
Yes.
in glorious new art style of the Mario and Luigi games that have been recent, and this is actually a good game.
What about Beyond Good and Evil? Did we cover that?
No.
It's Zelda. It's like Zelda.
But we
Not
only
anymore.
we covered Zelda,
it was
but
at
not
one
Zelda
point.
adjacent.
Now we don't even know what it
It's
is.
like an open world space. sim.
all
Don't
I-
get me started, Derek.
all I saw was a swearing ape. That's all.
Okay,
I
Yeah.
saw.
okay. This is maybe playing devil's advocate a little bit. Is a candidate for biggest surprise that the Mario vs. Rabbids game is a strategy RPG?
Well,
I thought it was
knew
a
that.
Laura
That
K.
is
Buzz said
surprising.
she leaked it, saying it was an RPG, and nobody believed her.
Who
We
did?
have known about Mario plus
Laura K.
Rabbids
Dale.
Yeah.
I mean,
Inquisition.
for a while.
it depends on how far back you go, because
I don't
Mario
feel
and
that
Luigi
strongly
was
about it, I
leaked
just wanted to
too,
bring it up.
Yeah,
but it's still a nice surprise. Actually, both of those. Can we just give it to both Mario games? Mario and Rabbids, despite the Rabbids, looks like an actual fun game. Which
Yeah,
I hate to
but
admit.
unless there's an option to turn off the rabbits, I don't want that getting.
I know, but the battles look so cool.
All right, so I'm gonna lean toward my Baltimore Raven brethren over there in Mike.
Aww.
I think Monster Hunter World should probably be there because that was kind of surprising. I
And
think
Mario?
And then Mario
maybe
and Luigi. Yeah.
Mario and Luigi as the runner-up.
We have a section for Metroid, though. I mean, that's
If we allowed Metroid, I would vote for
We can
Metroid.
make up an award for
Right,
Metroid.
honorary-
Okay, we've done it for Final
honorary-
Fantasy 14, and you know we're doing it again this year.
So the
Honorary
best-
Metroid Award goes to both Metroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
honorary Metroid
Well, it's like we
Awards.
already
Alright.
know which
So,
MMORPG.
Most
comes out
surprising
of
reveal.
14
I'm
is gonna
typing
get
it into the computer,
Final
so it
Fantasy
will not leave. Most surprising reveal. No From Software game. No, just kidding. Monster Hunter World.
Oh, you're
And
so
runner-up,
sad.
no Dragon Quest XI release date.
No, that's most disappointing. We're-
Yeah.
that's
Let's
coming.
look
very
at
sad.
We're getting there, yeah.
All right,
Okay,
bye.
Monster Hunter World.
I jumped the gun.
Runner up.
Oh, I got some more disappointments in that.
Mario
Oh shit,
and
like the
Luigi.
entire show. What?
Wow.
Okay. And I guess we're making an honorary Metroid award.
Yeah.
Metroid
But
Award.
which one wins? Metroid Prime
The
4
honor-
or
it's the-
Metroid
both.
Return to Samus?
Oh, Poor Kid
Return
on
of
the Samus.
Samus winner
Yeah.
for runner-up because it's just a teaser.
Best
I like
Samus
it.
in video
Yeah.
I like
games.
The the honorary Metroid award for outstanding achievement in being a Metroid game.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
perfect.
Honorary Metroid award
For outstanding
for
achievement
outstanding
in being a Metroid game. In the
Outstanding
year of our Lord
achievement
2017.
At existing.
being a Metroid game.
And the Metroid amiibo is all squishy and it's so cute. and I want it.
Oh, is it really squishy?
In
Yeah,
the year
sure,
of our
sure.
I'm adding this in the
What?
year of our Lord
Rob, my graphic is only so big.
2017.
You can make it work. I trust you.
So Monster
Tiny font,
I almost
man.
put Monster
Tiny font
Hunter.
is the key.
Metroid, Return of Samus.
Metroid Hunter.
Is it Samus Returns? It's
Samus Returns.
Yeah. Return of Samus is the old one. Samus Returns is the new one.
Passive
And then
voice.
Metroid Prime 4. Okay. The honorary Metroid Award of Outstanding Achievement for Outstanding Achievement. Hold on. For Outstanding Achievement in being a Metroid game in the year of our Lord 2017. Metroid Samus Returns.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4. All right, this is already off to a great start. I'm very happy with everything we're doing here. Okay, next one. This might be dicey. Best JRPG
That's
of
dicey.
E3 2017.
Ni no Kuni. Ni no
Ni
Kuni
no
2.
Kuni, yeah,
I think
Ni no Kuni.
I think Ni no Kuni's going to come up later because we have an action RPG category.
Oh.
Well, then East will also. come
Yeah,
with
so
that.
will East.
Okay,
Yeah.
but hang on. But Ni no Kuni has like segmented, it's action in the way Trails is rather than Scott.
It's more. It's like
Ys.
Tails now. It is straight up a Tails game.
You're going into encounters. They're segmented. It's not exactly an action.
You're
RPG.
supposed to be selling me on this game, and you just said it's a Trails game.
No,
Well,
Tails.
It's
Tails.
action
Tails.
combat.
But remember, we're not saying turn-based, we're saying
I
JRPG.
thought Ni no Kuni was kind of like a tactical
Okay.
action.
And that's why
RPG.
we do it, because turn-based is kind of...
Yeah, so I think, but this is closer to a turn-based than a full. Like,
So-
I would say of East and Ni no Kuni 2, East would be closer to quote-unquote action RPG than Ni no Kuni.
And Ni no Kuni 2 is more like traditionally a JRPG.
Yeah,
Like
it's, I mean, if
yeah.
we're going with the mold that the first one said as
Yeah.
well, even though this one is different.
Yeah, everyone liked Ni
Are
no
there
Kuni,
any
right?
other contenders here?
I think we could give Xenoblade 2 a runner-up in this case, just because they're really.
But there's a separate action
That looks
RPG
so good.
category.
But it's not
You're
really
not-
action RPG either. That's kind of like FF12.
Wouldn't they all be overlapping?
pseudo MMO
Because
thing.
the
They are
turn-based
overlapping.
is Etri and Odyssey is the only one that isn't.
Oh yeah, that exists.
The
Yeah, turn-based
categories are
counts.
too complicated.
Etrian
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, it's hard.
Rating story, perfect.
Should we just call it best best RPG made by Japanese people? Like, is that what we
No,
do?
no.
Should we just cut action
No.
RPG and call them all RPGs? JRPGs?
There's not very many this year.
Well, yeah, it seems like we have to shift the award categories every
We
year
can
based
do
on
that.
what
That's fine.
shows.
So do we just want to do best JRPG, best Western RPG?
That's what we're doing, aren't we?
Well, yeah, but then we have the best action RPG after.
Yeah, I like keeping that separate.
Oh boy. You just wanted Zelda to get another award.
I don't know how many action
That's what
RPGs
that
we
was.
actually saw this year is the problem. I mean, I don't know. Kingdom
Well,
Come Deliverance count?
We count
well, it's
Xenoblade
an RPG,
as traditional, apparently.
Oh, did you check last year or whatever year it won something?
I'm looking at reviews.
Oh, okay.
I think Xenoblade wins this. I really do. That
I
game
would,
is really good.
as staunch
No.
of a Xenoblade fan as I am, I would say, based on what I've seen, and I actually got to play Ni no Kuni 2, I would say Ni no Kuni 2 beats Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Wow.
I think we usually prioritize stuff we can play, though.
Yeah.
Even if all of us will probably like
See,
Xenoblade
that's what I
more.
mean about
Last
these
year's winner-
categories for what we actually played and what we only saw.
Last winner was Persona 5, just throwing it out there.
And
Yeah, I
if we
know, we
did,
made
then
an
we would have been able to
exception.
throw that into a category.
Derek, make your argument for Ni no Kuni 2. Why did you like that so much more than the Xeno? You know I love my Xeno Chronicles 2.
Well, we got we only saw footage of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 versus getting hands-on with Ni no Kuni. I think there are less unknowns with Ni no Kuni 2. We already know that it has an established pedigree. I mean, it has the same studio, same dev team more or less working on it. And we know that it's going to have a high standard in graphical quality, musical quality. We got to actually play the game, and it felt like a really robust battle system that made tangible improvements over the first games. There's like a dodge roll now. There's a block. You can manage your little higgledies as well as like actually fighting each character individually. Higgledies! That's what they're called. Isn't that great? I just like saying it. Higgledies.
It's the new Pikmin.
Yeah, I mean, they talked a bit about the new Kingdom development system, which sounds really cool. Like, it felt a little, maybe like Skies of Arcadia Home Base meets maybe Dark Cloud, Giorama. We don't know exactly how much we're going to be able to do in terms of managing the town's layout, but that sounds really enticing to me. And so, I feel like, I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles, obviously is like one of my most favorite games of all time. Xenoblade Chronicles X went in a really different direction, and I still really enjoyed it. And I think I have concerns about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 where I don't about Ni no Kuni. Like, I see the art for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which may seem like a small thing, but I'm really put off by it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we were saying it during the conference. Do we know what the female character's name is?
Pyra.
Pyra. Okay.
It's moe as hell.
Yeah,
watch it.
Yeah, I know. Pyra is moe as hell. I mean, she basically is wearing a mini skirt that is the size of a Band-Aid. Her G-string is on full display, and she has giant anime Senran Kagura boobies. As much as I love that look, that feels really weird in a Tales game, and in a Xenoblade game.
Ooh, Freudy.
But Freudian slip. But then also in the reveal trailer for Xeno Chronicles 2, it looked very Talesy, anime-y, and I cooled a little bit on it. Like when they showed the 40-minute gameplay, I agree. I thought it looked really good, but I'm kind of with you, Derek. That game maybe underwhelmed me a little bit, while Ni no Kuni 2 looks really good.
Yeah, I would say it's not that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 looks bad. I think it looks great. It's just, initial reaction to the two would be like, I felt way more positive. I felt like 100% positive about Ni no Kuni 2. There was nothing about it that put me off, whereas Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there were some elements that I was going, I do appreciate that they're trying something new with the battle system and like the whole Link thing. Okay. I just don't love the character designs, which I know seems like not the biggest thing in the world, but it makes me worry about sort of like the maybe thematic direction it'll go in, because it just looks maybe a little more juvenile or like
very shonen kind of Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Compared to the others.
William.
Yeah, because Xenoblade really, the first one really kind of set itself apart from the rest in that. I thought that it was a little bit more mature, all things considered.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels
I'm
like,
not,
very shonen Sunday.
I don't want to knock on it by any means. It's just, if I have to pick between the two, I'm more immediately impressed by Ni no Kuni 2. That's my argument.
I'll agree with that, even with my Xenoblade bias.
Same.
Yep.
And we are discounting action RPGs like he said.
Yeah, because we're
For
going
the time being, yeah.
We're going to do action RPGs later.
Okay.
Yep.
You will not let that one
No,
go.
And I mean,
that one
for this
and a handful of
category,
others.
we do technically include Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, and I guess technically we would also.
It's a good game, Rob.
We could also include all.
Yes, it is.
Also, all of Atlus's games, although most of them are on video.
Like Etrian Odyssey 5.
Yeah. Radiant Historia looks great.
They all look great, but we
can't.
We didn't actually get to see.
And the trailers are so short.
Yeah.
But
there
were no playable demo. There was actually a demo for Etrian Odyssey 5, but
it was mostly a developer played demo and not an open demo, right?
It was hands off unless you were in that meeting.
Right.
I'm really excited to play Radiant Historia again. I really wanted to like that game. I've heard really good things about the improvements they've made to it, but I'm basing all of that off of a very short trailer.
I gotta tell you, I'm really put off by the character redesigns,
Yeah.
and also that trailer has got like some J-pop in it for no reason. It's really changed the tone of that game.
Is that like the original character design was not the problem with the original Radiant Historia? It was fine.
It was like, why'd they change it?
It was very different from the norm.
It was gorgeous.
And there was other problems with the game. It certainly wasn't the art. And I do miss that old kind of like comic book black, that kind of hard black kind of
high contrast look.
One. Yeah, the high contrast art. And man, I miss Princess Erica's short hair. That should look way cooler then.
Yeah,
very distinctive faces and very distinctive hair.
Yeah.
As well, very detailed. And now it's
every single princess has long blonde hair.
Yeah.
Not many have the short, like the super short hair like that. made her way more distinctive. Plus, she had the gun. I mean,
There was an air of bitterness there from
A
Steph
short
right
hair
there.
princess
Did you
with a
hear
gun.
that?
yeah,
we
it
all
all
think that.
came out.
Yeah,
for me.
that's
We've been talking about that one character especially.
That came out. Okay, so here's what I have down.
It's already
Okay.
getting warm in here.
Here's what I have down, and we can make a decision about it.
It's Rob.
I have I radiate body heat. We've been through this. Best JRPG, Ni no Kuni 2. Runner up,
Xenoblade.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I
Yes.
am not giving an award to Final Fantasy 12.
That's
I'm
fine.
just- I'm
Well,
not
but
doing
those are
it.
both also new games, so I would actually balance.
Agreed.
Sure.
No awards for.
That's okay. I do the HTML.
Rob, shut the hell up.
The Vaughn's Abs Award for being Vaughn's Abs in HD.
They're so scary.
Final Fantasy 12.
Skeleton abs, man.
That's some
Skeleton Warriors.
All right, this next category might need a little work because I think we only saw one game technically that fits into this category.
Hours and hours and hours.
Next, what?
Just we've got loads of time.
Okay, we have plenty of hours to go here. All right. Next
Please,
award
please,
was
please,
the
please,
best
please, please.
Western RPG.
That's you.
I think I'm the only one that saw one.
Yeah.
Saw one.
We saw one.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I saw one.
Oh,
It's not the best though.
It's not the best.
All right,
Does
so-
the one we saw Tuesday morning count?
So here's the deal. Pillars of Eternity is good to talk about, and that game looked really, really good.
You really like Cthulhu. I thought it was great too.
I think that fits in with visual novel. I
Right,
think that
right,
comes
okay,
in
okay.
down the line.
Okay.
I mean, it's got stats. They're just not combat stats.
But it's more of a visual novel in that there's investigations, that sort of thing, like a little bit more Danganronpa, Ace Attorney. We're talking about Call of Cthulhu here. I almost said Call of Duty. Call of Cthulhu here, folks. So
Very different. Yeah.
I would say that's more.
It is governed by stats though.
I
in a different
didn't
context.
see the game, so I don't want to like butt into a conversation I don't know anything
No, go ahead.
about. But it is based on the tabletop game, which is an investigative game that is stat oriented.
It's dice rolls based on your stats to whether you get mythos knowledge or convince
I
somebody.
mean, you're making a good argument.
I think it's.
I
Safe
think
to
it's
say
an
to-
RPG.
I think it's safe to say that it toes the line, and we could. I mean, which one do we want to put?
Well, looking ahead, we had best visual novel
Probably
or
right.
adventure game. Looking ahead.
There's more going on there than a visual novel or adventure game. Much more.
I hadn't considered it like that. So, what, like, if Ace Attorney had stats, you'd maybe go with it as a what?
Yeah, as some kind of RPG. If you were, increasing your charisma to make a better case in court, and then I don't know, scoring a critical hit or something.
So you're. I'm not
sway the
disagreeing with you.
audience.
I'm saying that your argument would be like if Mass Effect didn't have combat.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. No,
I mean, in
you kind of
tabletop,
convinced me. So.
in tabletop, combat is such a small part of the experience.
Okay. I think I can let that one go. Anybody else want to? I think Call of Cthulhu might fit into Western RPG. Derek just whipped his phone out because he's like, "You guys are talking about white people."
Yeah, this is like when I
I don't
talk
care
about
no
the
more.
Trails series.
Excuse me, it's Caucasian RPGs.
Yeah.
That's Wayfit.
It's when I talk about Trails.
But the game looked. I mean, the game looked good enough that we're considering it for this too, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. So,
Okay.
all right. So, a couple of games we have right now.
I've seen 2 Western games really, and that is
Yeah.
that blows
You
the
know-
others out of the other out of the water.
Yeah.
And this is like very pedantic or whatever you want to call it. But we are talking about games in the Western style, not necessarily made by a Western developer,
Right,
right?
right.
Because I was going to say I saw Y2K, a postmodern RPG, which is made by a Western developer, but it's like styled after Earthbound and like
Okay.
Haruki Murakami fiction. But it is like very much a turn-based JRPG. So if we would count that as a JRPG, and it's good, but I certainly wouldn't put it above the 2 that we just picked for JRPG. I just wanted to bring it up in case.
So, if we put Call of Cthulhu in here, that means we're cutting it off from adventure game and a visual novel.
Right.
So we're okay. with
Right.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm nodding. I forgot we're on a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's all right. It happens to us, Mike. So we got Pillars 2, Call of Cthulhu. Colin, you said you saw one?
There's the Kingdom Come Deliverance, which I wouldn't nominate for. I mean, it's very much a Western RPG, and it's very much got some kind of Eastern European jank going with it. Like, after The Witcher 3, you would think like they kind of proved that, hey, we can make a decent RPG, but there's too many problems with Kingdom Come.
It's not like these are some young upstarts either. The
No.
director of this game is the guy who directed Mafia 1 and 2.
So,
Oh wow.
So Kingdom Come not on the list.
No.
There's also Vampire by Don't Not Entertainment, which I thought was interesting,
Oh, yeah.
but I wouldn't put it ahead of Call of Cthulhu or Pillars 2.
Yeah, Vampire was interesting in that last year I think it actually looked better. It looked very dark. It looked like the UI was pretty worked out. I really like the idea of the relationship building in that game and how like you can end up destroying an entire district by feeding on people for experience points. But man, that game looked a little rough. The facial animations, I hate to say it, the facial animations look like Shenmue right now.
Or Detroit.
Dude, I'm not even going to acknowledge that was at the show. All right, that's
Well, we couldn't get near it.
yeah.
so-
Oh darn. Steph and I had a chance to, and I was like, no. And also, I think the combat in Vampire looks really, really rough. Like that looks like the weakest aspect of the game. I actually wish it was more of a very nice Fenner. I actually wish that was way more of a visual novel. All right, so we got Pillars and Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
we also saw, and I don't know if these would be award worthy, but I just want to mention them for consideration. Today, John and I saw LX by Piranha Bytes,
Oh yeah.
and Spellforce 3 by I don't actually remember, but and both games looked really good. They were both at the show last year. Looking a little rough. I think last year we fell onto not covering Spellforce 3 because it's an RTS RPG hybrid, and the demo build we saw last year leaned a lot harder onto the RTS elements.
Oh.
But this year it looked like more like they actually had like RPG elements going on.
Yeah, definitely. They ironed out all of the bugs that were in the previous year's version for sure.
And then Elex, again, Piranha Bytes, they big Gothic, Risen. They're big on open world games with a lot of freedom. And this one looks pretty cool. It looks a lot better than the build from last year.
All right. So do we still think Call of Cthulhu and Pillars 2 are the two games that are in the running?
Yeah,
I think so.
so as well. I just wanted to make sure we cover all our bases.
You saw both.
I did see both. I think with Pillars 2, you know what you're getting. Like, you're going to get a top-down isometric RPG in that Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights style.
Old Infinity Engine, except you can actually play it now.
Yeah, and it looks really good. It plays really good. I think we know what that thing is a known quantity. I just want to make sure that my vote for Call of Cthulhu is not because it's doing something different. Like, there's still a lot of questions with that game. I'm a little nervous about some aspects of that game, particularly around how it's going to handle the Eldritch encounters where you're being chased around and you have to get away and not die. Like, that might be very frustrating, and I could see them really screwing that up, but the investigation stuff looks really good. So I'm really torn, because it's like, I kind of want to acknowledge Call of Cthulhu is doing something so different and so unique with that mythology, but I'm also scared to death they're just going to completely screw it up.
I gotta say, though, I'm sorry, Mike, please, go ahead.
Let's real quick, though, but we're not reviewing it.
Oh, no.
Based on what we know right now.
According to Dennis Dyack, these are reviews, and they should be taken seriously. So.
Well, Dennis Dyack...
That's a throwback.
Dennis Dyack gets a D.
He's
not here.
He gets the D. Mike, can you get me a scotch, please?
No.
Of course you can.
Thank you.
I was going to say, I find that when a lot of games try to adapt Lovecraft's work or the Cthulhu mythos, it usually falls down hard because they try to focus on combat and saving the world, and that's not what any of those stories are about.
That is the antithesis of Lovecraft.
Yeah, completely. So something like Bloodborne is the most successful because, it's not Lovecraft, but it acknowledges what that author was trying to do. And I think this is the most faithful adaptation of that material that still, sticks to the theme of, okay, you are an ordinary person, and this is an otherworldly threat that will drive you mad.
Yeah.
And it's showing a lot of promise.
And I really like how they said
It's not about killing big gods.
No, and you can't regenerate your sanity.
Yeah.
Which that I really like
Never?
If you start going crazy, you start going crazy.
Is that why you start comparing it to Eternal Darkness?
A little bit, but I think that there's more of a gameplay aspect of that. Like at one point, if your character is claustrophobic, if you pick up a phobia, you can hide from the horrors in like a closet, but your heart will start beating faster and you might die of a heart attack. So because of the experiences that you've gone through, that's actually going to add some gameplay twists. I'm kind of okay giving this to Call of Cthulhu. I'm kind of okay with it.
I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
As
It
half of you
sounds
have-
interesting.
As half of you have your cell phones out.
I say the yay.
Alright, so the best Western RPG we are going to give to Call of Cthulhu. Fenner comes in with a great argument on that one.
We're not going to call it the most outstanding Lovecraftian achievement.
No.
Okay.
No.
To provide a
Bloodborne
visual,
wins that.
so the listeners
Yeah,
have a
but
visual.
Bloodborne wins that one.
Fenner just did a classic chef kissing his fingers gesture.
Well done, Finner.
But, I mean,
I'm
he
doing
can't.
that too, but I got Doritos.
Tasty.
Alright, so we have Call of Cthulhu is the winner for Best Western RPG, and the runner-up is Pillars of Eternity 2. Next one, Best Action RPG of E3
East
2017.
8. Easy.
I think the
Easy
only
8.
I think the only contenders are East 8, Tokyo Xanadu, and Monster Hunter World, and I would give it to East 8.
Yakuza 6 comes in.
Yakuza 6.
Does Yakuza 6 come in and steal this?
Takes it.
Yakuza 6 and Zwei. I think I like.
No,
I gave an award to Zwei, but I gotta say I like these other games more.
And maybe Sakuna?
Maybe Sakuna.
Is that the Rice game?
Sakuna,
Yeah.
Sakuna and
Is
Zwei
that
are both
the
cute.
rice game?
Sakuna's
Rice
pretty
game.
sick.
It is the rice game.
It looks really cool.
What is that game?
Sakuna is like a wannabe Vanillaware game, but with a farming element. So we only got to play the Vanillaware part.
It had numbers.
Yeah,
and
it had
and it's made
numbers.
by a developer who's only one game, right?
Yeah,
Is like this popular shooter on Steam.
Edelweiss.
That apparently is, yeah,
Ask the
apparently
Breed.
really good. Ask the Breed.
Can I interest anyone in Yakuza 6 to just come in and steal this from Derek's beloved East 8?
I think too many people want Ease 8.
Not at
I
this
think
time,
Ease
no.
8 is the winner.
Ease 8
here.
looks great.
East
East
8
8
looks
wins.
awesome.
But Yakuza 6 has Beat Takeshi in it.
6.
Yes, it does.
It
Run
does
it
have
up.
Pete Takeshi in it. He was
Yeah.
on the badge.
It's a fine runner-up. Like
Looking
I'm not
vaguely
gonna fight
disappointed.
for
I
it.
think East 8 has Dogi in it, and that's more important.
Yeah, I think Yakuza 6 has to be in there, either as the winner or runner-up.
I
Oh,
like
we're
it,
not-
John.
Are
I
we
like
gonna,
it.
well, wait. Should we give it to 13 Sentinels?
Oh,
But we don't even technically know if that's like
Yeah.
I don't know what
Is
it
that
is.
even a game?
I don't think they know what that game is.
Best selfie booth.
Yeah, that was
No, Senran Kagura. Sorry. Peach.
Xbox One X.
Xbox One, Xbox One.
Maybe 13 Sentinels could be the best game that might be Death Stranding.
No,
Because we don't know what it is.
the best no-show.
Okay, you just created an award. The best game that might be Death Stranding. Best game
I'm starting to think
that might
that Aegis
be...
Red
No,
Knight-
shh, let me finish this joke.
Okay.
Best game that might be Death Stranding. We have 13 Sentinels as the winner.
Okay.
Runner-up.
Runner-up.
Runner-up?
Peach.
No.
Peach Peach.
No.
We know what that is.
Knack 2.
Knack 2.
Knack 2.
Alright,
You were so hoping that Knack was going to show up in that kind of
I
work
really
trailer.
was.
I saw him on the show floor. I saw real life Knack.
He almost attacked me.
Yeah.
Alright, so best game that might
He
be
just came
Death
up and
Stranding,
smacked the
13
sign.
Sentinels, and Knack 2 is the runner-up.
I approve.
So best action RPG, we're thinking East 8, and then could I interest you guys in a Yakuza 6? as
You're
the
really
runner-up?
pushing that agenda.
I wouldn't have Yakuza 6 as the runner-up, but I'll accept it as long as East 8 is number 1.
What other option is
bargaining?
there?
Make your case, Mike.
East 8 is the best realization of that formula I've ever seen. It's the best looking East game. The combat is maybe the smoothest and most entertaining combat in any Falcom game I've ever played. And the demo that they provided was pretty lengthy. It took me about 30 to 35 minutes to do, and it's going to be thrown onto PSN pretty soon. It'll be public very soon, and it gave you some some dialogue. You used 3 main characters and met Dogi and a handful of other NPCs, and it took you through 2 medium-sized, swampy dungeons and 2 boss battles. And it was all pretty intense and fun, and it made me just even thirstier to play East 8 in September.
But Yakuza 6 is in a similar situation in being it's the newest, best entry in like a series that is well regarded. Like it's the brand new engine with
Scott Majima.
I'd like to play it, yeah.
Was there a playable demo?
There was a playable demo, yeah.
I wish I had played it.
It felt great. Yeah, their new engine is looking really good. Everything is you can interact with everything in the stores now. Like if you get into a fight in a convenience store, you'll see like Ramune going everywhere, and it's great.
So what you're saying is it's a tie.
The darts are pretty cool.
The darts are very cool.
They were really pushing that game. I mean, half their booth
In
was
E8,
seeing
you
4
could-
It was
Yakuza.
beautiful, yeah.
In E8, you could hit a giant enemy crab with its weak point.
Wait, with
What
its
for?
own, with its
For-
own weak point?
No.
Hit it for what though?
You can hit its weak point, which is its face with a giant anchor for massive damage.
For massive damage.
I think I might have won it.
Winner.
All right. So East8.
I think
Hashtag
yeah.
winning.
I wish I would have seen Yakuza.
How do I spell East?
YS. It's not that
Damn it. Runner up.
freaking hard.
Runner up.
Wise
Oh,
8.
by the way,
It's
the
why-
full title is Ys 8, the Lacrimosa of Dana.
So right there.
And you
I
gotta
want to
do.
come over there and rip your nipple off.
That's also the name of my goth band.
Jokes
Did
on
you say
you,
golf
Robert.
or
All
goth?
my nipples are ripped off.
My
already.
golf
Yeah,
goth
that's
band.
How's it work?
So it can be both.
Golf themed.
Yakuza 6 is the runner up.
Yep.
All right. I'm really
Yeah.
glad we got that straight.
Yakuza 0 is great, so I
still
bet
need to
that's
play
good
more.
too.
Tokyo
I'm interested in
Xanadu.
0, 6, and Kiwami.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Always
Zero really looks like an Ikeda manga.
Best visual novel. Best visual novel.
Danganronpa.
Or adventure game.
Yeah.
Of
Beanie
E3 2017.
Danganronpa V3 Killing
Danganronpa.
What's the one we
Yeah, I mean, Telltale didn't show anything.
Oh, a possible runner-up suggestion: Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Yeah.
Ooh, that thing looked really cool.
I'd like to. It's not going to make this list. I want to give a quick shout out to the Cat in the Hijab, which I played today.
Oh, wow.
Where you are a
Cat
cat in a hijab on the subway, having a tough time from other racist cats, and in the end, another cat gets discriminated against, a trans cat, and you can choose whether to step up or not be very nice.
I just want to hug my Trico plushie right now. Like, I hate the world right now.
Best award for being a Trico plushie goes to the Trico plushie.
The Trico plushie is getting into this award somehow. We
So
can't
I think the
decide.
Trico plushie is a contender for best strategy RPG. Honestly,
Cat in the Hijab is short. It's free. You can get it on itch.io. It's very sweet. Worth checking out.
But
It's not on this list.
I'm hearing for best visual novel.
Yeah, Danganronpa. And the
Yeah, I would say the runner-up where the water.
Did you say Fen Fen Rampa?
Is it looks like
Yeah, sure.
wine? Flows like wine.
Water.
Where the water tastes like wine.
Tastes like wine. Yeah.
Where
It's
the
a
water-
very. It's like a very.
I want to live
folksy-
there.
It's called Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
It's like a Dust Bowl, kind of very Americana. You're just kind of passing on stories and listening to other people's stories, and there's no main objective, but they described it to us as like a collection of short stories. Which
The art style's beautiful.
It has
Yeah,
a
our
very
style is
distinctive
amazing,
art
yeah.
style.
There's a
It's
skeleton in a
fantastic.
hat, so it's like the share zone.
Yeah, you play a skeleton in a hat walking across a literal representation of the United States, hearing people's stories, and it looks really cool.
All right.
I didn't know anything about it, but when you guys told me about it earlier, I looked it up and was just really taken away by how pretty and distinct it looks.
Yeah.
All right.
I also enjoyed that we just said Danganronpa and nobody had to actually argue for it or describe why it was good. We were just like, yeah, it's
it
Danganronpa.
wins. It wins.
Yeah.
So best visual novel or adventure game, Danganronpa V3, and runner-up is Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Hey,
V3 has the subtitle Killing Harmony.
very important. This Danganronpa answers the question: what if Danganronpa was a girl?
And now maybe we'll learn.
Why
what if
can't
Dan-
Metroid crawl?
Yeah, if Metroid could crawl next.
All right, next one. This might get interesting. Best sleeper hit of E3 2017. Best sleeper hit. I see. This is kind of the problem that we were having with E3 in general. Besides the crowds,
You know,
there weren't a lot of surprises.
Yeah. Well, last year we gave it to Night in the Woods, which I'm very glad we did. 'cause
I
that
still need to
game-
play
That
that.
game's
That game
phenomenal,
blew
yeah.
up. Yeah.
That game rules.
Yeah.
You know, I still need
That was a good choice.
to. I'd like to see more from it, and I don't necessarily want to put it forward as like the de facto winner of the category. But I had just mentioned Y2K, Postmodern RPG. In a sense, it was a sleeper hit in that it wasn't even on the E3 show floor. I had to go to the Devolver Digital Indie Arcade, which was outside South Hall, across the street, and hidden in the corner of a parking lot, more or less. It was like 4 trailers. They gave me a beer. They were really nice. But I had to make this appointment, before E3, and I went into this little tiny trailer, sat one-on-one with this guy, and then, he talked to me about Y2K, and I thought it was very interesting. So in that sense, it's like a game that not many people played at the show, probably, which sounds very hipsterish, but like it was physically hidden away,
Right.
and the only way I got to see it was by appointment. So,
As another, I think I could throw out there, Fire Emblem Warriors. at its singular booth that was apparently hidden in the back of Nintendo's section.
I didn't even know it was
you
there.
Could not possibly get to in a million years, even if you tried.
Yeah.
And that game looks really cool based on the Treehouse Live footage that we saw.
Yeah, does look good.
I think also Zwei, the Ilvard Insurrection,
Yeah.
the Falcom game Exceed's publishing. It's an older PC action RPG. It looks pretty cool. It's like Exceed has guts for bringing that out in 2017.
Yeah, it's a 2009 PC game. It kind of plays like a little half step between modern Ys titles with the party-based system and something like Ys Origin.
Interesting.
And that booth was empty. I could go over and play that whenever I wanted to, and I couldn't get near anything else the whole time. So it was completely overlooked, but really, really charming and sweet.
It's a bad comparison to make because I know people didn't like Alundra 2, but it kind of reminded me of Alundra 2 a little bit.
Yeah.
Ys Origins, right?
Yeah.
What's by? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of reminded me of Grand Stream Saga as well. And I don't like that game either.
Right, but it's like
It's fine.
a favorable,
Yeah.
an alternate world version
The
where
good
that was a
parts
good
of it.
game.
Yeah.
Hey, but it had the anime cutscene with Girl in Towel. Am I right?
And it looks like one main character is a vampire that feasts on the other main character.
Just like me, yeah.
Oh.
I like that as a choice.
So we like Zwei?
Like, it had a big presence at their booth, but like you said, like
But
no
nobody
one
was
knows what it
playing
was.
it, yeah.
They're like, I don't know what Zui is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you go over to the Call of Cthulhu, the Call of Duty /
Call of Cthulhu.
I almost just did Call of Cthulhu and
I got a duty to
Divinity
inspect
2.
that Cthulhu.
No, you had the Call of Duty booth, which was insane, right next to the Destiny booth, which was
Hector
insane. And
Cthulhu
meanwhile,
Inspector.
He said, "Dude."
Hashtag normies.
not even gonna try anymore. Normies.
Xbox One.
Xbox One.
Teraflops confirmed.
All of the teraflops. Okay, so I'm here in Zwei for winter.
Yes.
I like that.
Zwei, it's ZWEI.
Yep.
I'll
the
type it, don't worry.
Ilvard Insurrection.
Okay, Zwei, and what's our runner-up?
Oh boy.
Y2K sounds good. You made a really nice case for it.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
down with
I think it holds a lot of promise.
I like it.
It's a weird, surrealist RPG inspired heavily by the works of Haruki Murakami, the Japanese author, and Earthbound.
Oh, I didn't know about that first one.
There's like a weird sequence where you chase a cat into this factory. The cat's talking to you, and the main character is like this hipster who fights by throwing records at enemies. And his attack is like the Shadowheart's Judgment Ring, where you have to press the button to land extra attacks. Yeah, he chases this cat into a factory, and in the bottom he finds like an Illuminati pyramid that cries a river of tears that floats a platform up for him to climb on.
That sounds like it could be a scene
It's
in Hard-Boiled
so
Wonderland.
weird. Yeah.
You can tell he's a hipster, not a real vinyl enthusiast, because he would be keeping those records pristine.
Yeah, he wouldn't take them out of the sleeves.
All right, so Y2K is
Sure.
our runner-up.
I mean, unless we want to give it to Monsters of the Deep.
What's that?
The Final Fantasy 15 fishing game.
Oh, yeah, no.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, ladies and gentlemen, I turn your attention to the Final Fantasy XIV Outstanding Achievement Award for an MMORPG named Final Fantasy XIV. This year, I believe it goes to Stormblood.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, it had a real presence.
I wish
Yes.
we could have actually won that damn battle challenge. But
Oh man, you are so salty.
Is the
I'm a little salty.
You're
yeah.
you're
So
very
you got a
salty.
shirt.
I just wanted the shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had this battle.
This
challenge.
one bled for you to get a shirt.
She did. Yeah, I'd like
Literally.
to point out that Steph is an absolutely perfect human being. They had a Stormblood drive outside of the main show floor.
Which is the greatest pawn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Red Cross was there accepting blood donations, and then if you participated, like the lovely Steph did, you get a T-shirt. I cannot donate to the Red Cross, so she did it on my behalf, and she got me a lovely shirt. So
She also went out of her way to get me the Trico plushie. So
she did do that.
Steph wins E3.
I'm not contributing much, yeah, but I did my rounds for everybody.
No, that's okay. You had a bunch of game developers tweeting.
You
at
literally
today.
gave
It
blood.
was an honor to literally give blood to the Final Fantasy series and winning it.
A lot of tears.
So the real question is the runner-up going to be Monsters of the Deep or the Blood Drive?
Blood Drive. Blood Drive.
Way better cause.
Blood Drive. Okay, Blood
Yeah.
Drive. All right.
Okay, Stormblood.
So
Drive.
Stormblood wins, and then Stormblood Drive is the runner-up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Runner up.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that battle challenge was fun, but man, when you play with people who've never logged into that game before,
I'm
It's
sorry.
kind of hard to win.
I was not there, folks. I was not there.
I played with someone who apparently mains a healer, and it didn't go well.
So I think the next award it kind of came out of nowhere next year. I don't know if we really need it here, so don't feel obligated to. We had coolest concept of E3 2017. Coolest concept. Because somebody wanted to just give a goddamn award to Pyre, and I'm still angry about it. Screw you.
Oh, we didn't see that at the show at all.
Yeah,
Doesn't it
because
come
it's
out
not
in
gonna-
like a month or two?
It comes out soon, but we did see a private demo of it last year, but it wasn't anywhere to be found this year.
Okay.
I don't...
So what was the runner-up last year?
Runner-up was... really? Vampire.
Oh,
Vampire.
Vampire. Sorry.
Well,
Vampire.
that
Probably
had
for the
a pretty
social
big presence this
for the
year,
for
yeah.
the social interaction.
Yeah.
Can Call of Cthulhu win that
Concept.
most interesting concept, possibly? If we're going to keep that around?
Can they double up if they're one?
We don't. I mean, we try not to.
I mean,
we can do runner-up.
Nothing
I
really.
bet 13 Sentinels would have been there if it actually had a presence.
Wait,
Yeah.
who played Metronomicon?
We
Oh,
played
yeah.
Metronomicon. Me and Chris played Metronomicon, and it's an interesting concept, but just the execution, the RPG elements felt really thin.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
rhythm RPG where you have 4 party members, and whichever member you're selected on, notes flow down at you like Guitar Hero, and you hit the directional buttons and the face buttons to cast your spells, and it worked. Like, the concept was sound, but to me it wasn't the most fun experience.
I don't think we should feel obligated to make this award. I
Yeah.
think last year
I don't have
It
an
is-
objection to cutting it.
we had a really good thing in Pyre last year, and so we wanted to kind of recognize that, give it some props. I mean, that's some of these awards we just make up. I mean, come on, we just got done the Final Fantasy 14 award, but like we do this to kind of have some fun and acknowledge games that maybe aren't going to get a whole lot of attention otherwise. I just didn't see a concept this year that made me like pause.
You know, if it
I
was
gotta
within
say,
our
yeah.
coverage, I would nominate Genital Jousting. Did you see the controller for that game?
Oh, God, the giant dildos.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, 4 of them on a table.
Why am I just learning
And-
about this?
And I was very
Is that I can get in
surprised.
there.
I was surprised to learn you actually play it with your hand.
Not with your mouth.
Yeah. They kicked me out of the booth, and I
You got
didn't
too excited, Derek.
That's what you were doing in
You're only
process
supposed to use
work.
one controller at a time, also.
Now, last year,
Shame
didn't
on
we?
me.
Didn't we partially give it to Pyre because we wanted to give the runner-ups to Vampire and Gaia?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
That alliteration, though.
Yeah.
Too strong, on point.
Now we could still come up with a new award.
The Vampire Award for Outstanding Achievement.
Well, we already have the Metroid Award for Outstanding Achievement.
Yeah, but
being
that
a
one
Metroid
needed
game.
to be
You
there.
could do a Vampire Award, Vampire in Code Vein.
Did you guys get to play?
So
Is Code Vein
greatest
playable?
achievement in
No,
Vampire
it was
Wasn't
not.
it?
Okay.
We could give the best award for a kind of Dark Souls game to Code Vein.
I feel like dropping this. I feel like
I have no
dropping
objection.
Yeah,
to
I
that.
don't think we have a
this.
big.
I think we drop it. All right, dropped. Okay.
Alright, I'm having some.
Best booth of E3. Now, strangely enough, last year's Square Enix won. I think because we were having such an easy time moving around and there was so much good stuff.
Their booth is great.
Whereas Zelda, you needed like armed escort to get
Yeah.
in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Nintendo's booth this year was very interesting with the
Beautiful.
Mario stuff. You just couldn't
gorgeous.
see it.
yes,
I think that was my favorite.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo's booth
Yeah.
was amazing.
I really like the Red Light District Tokyo Alley for Yakuza
That felt-
6.
that felt
For
really
Sega,
cool,
yeah, it was
too.
great.
I want to give a brief shout out to Capcom's booth because they had a lot of really cool stuff in it. They had a gigantic Rathalos Monster Hunter statue that was awesome.
That was great.
Yeah, it was
They had a panel of the history of Street Fighter showing this 6 chapters in the Street Fighter series and how they've evolved. They had
That was good.
And they had playable demo.
They had
Yeah.
playable demos of every single thing except for Monster Hunter World, which had a live demo by the director of the game.
Wow.
Capcom
And a giant Sigma.
And a giant Sigma Ultron Sigma statue and tournaments for where any player in the
Right.
on the
Ooh.
show floor could win the right to challenge a pro.
I feel like Capcom might have just come in and taken it.
That is a good one.
The problem was
Yeah.
the lines were so huge that it was
Once
hard to
on
get
Fortnite.
into anything unless you had press privilege, which we did.
Yeah.
But I really loved the Capcom booth,
And I love Capcom always bringing out the memorabilia. I
Yeah.
really love that stuff.
Yeah. I think Capcom won.
I think Capcom takes this, but I want to.
I didn't see half of that.
I really want to give some props to Yakuza 6.
No, that booth was super cool. It very much
cool,
felt like
yeah.
the red light district, like
They even handed out the tissue paper.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
You got your JO tissue.
That was a big joke in Yakuza 6. Like everybody you talked to gave you tissues. So
Yeah, I think that was great.
So, but does that beat Nintendo?
You couldn't
There's
play
a life-size.
anything at Nintendo.
There's a life-size bullet bill with a mustache.
yeah,
I'm
tank.
not arguing
Yeah,
with
a
you,
tank.
Mike.
Tank.
Oh, you know what? Actually,
And the
now that I
chomp.
think about it, what was really charming about Nintendo's booth is that all of the staff were dressed as like jazz singers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see that?
was really cool.
Yes.
Like all the guys had the little like
I didn't
bowler hats
notice
or whatever, and
Ladies
then
had the big sun hats.
yeah, I thought that was really cool.
It's New Donk City.
New Donk City.
And it's
New
such a
York
large
City.
space, and it's just, it felt like you were in a wonderland when you were able to get.
I'm
in
gonna
there.
I'm gonna fight for that. I think that deserves runner up at least.
Oh man.
Yes.
I
What
loved Capcom was my favorite, but I'm not gonna. I would like to see it get runner up. I don't want to diminish how awesome Nintendo's was, but I didn't. Now I wish I'd spent more time in the Yakuza 6 booth.
It's really.
It was
really
a
good.
small area, but it was like it
It
was
was
more or
really
less a
well
little
done.
hallway,
They
but
did
it was
a good
very
job
well
with the space
done.
They had,
Yeah, it
because
was
not
really
everybody
good.
can get the biggest space.
I just
right?
think that Capcom, the argument Mike made for Capcom was so much more functional.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the Nintendo booth was great, and you had a lot of Mario going on.
Is
and
that
it was-
their fault though, or is that the number of attendees?
No, but I would also say there were very few games outside of Mario. Like, you
They
had...
still don't have much third-party support either.
Yeah, you had ARMS, which looked okay. But,
Rabbids.
They had Arms,
Rabbids.
Splatoon.
yeah, but, like,
Yeah.
Capcom was
Pokken.
really going all
Yeah,
out.
Pokemon.
I felt like Capcom's booth was kind of a little mecca of things and activity, and they
Yeah.
really knocked it out of the park with their Street Fighter competitions going on over there. Like, that's really special. And then they had the second Monster Hunter booth, because remember, there are 2 Monster Hunter booths at
That's right.
E3.
Yeah.
With the director there, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it,
really
it
cool.
was only for a live
And the
demo.
most intense PR person ever.
That guy was really into it. He might have. I don't. He's either on like Red Bull or Speed.
I thought
Yeah.
I was drunk.
Yeah, that was like the real
In a good
Mr.
way.
Caffeine. That was the real Mr. Caffeine. So
What about Peach Beach.
I could go either way as long as
XC did have a nice booth.
Xbox One, Xbox One, Xbox
They
One.
really did
Xbox
have a
One.
nice booth. Yeah.
XC had a great display.
Yeah, everything was playable.
They did have a great
And
display.
just to add to hardware, like, XC had a really big display, and they did think they had Ys 8 in the bag. And turns out they didn't, so their space was actually kind of compensating for Ys 8 that they didn't have.
And they also drew
Aw.
the biggest crowds with all the people taking pictures of the Senran
Beach,
Kagura
beach,
booth.
Beach,
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 beach.
beach.
And they have the guy there signing autographs.
Beach.
We can do 3. We did a double runner-up in that concept thing last year.
Yeah, but that was to make sure we had the
So
alliteration.
number 1, Peach Beach. Number 2, Peach Beach. Number 3,
Xbox One.
Xbox One, Xbox One,
Xbox One X.
All right, I think Nintendo takes it. Capcom's the runner-up.
No.
I think swap that. None of us could get near Nintendo. Nintendo had a really
Yeah,
impressive
that was
display.
Day was just
It's great, but
The first day was obscene, but then you could actually walk around that space on the
Yeah.
second day.
You can walk around it. You
Yeah.
can walk around
We got
it.
pretty
As
far
in,
in there.
No, but you can go inside, and like you may not be able to get near a game.
I
but
went inside,
I
like,
walked
3
all
times.
around it over the past
Yes,
2
it was
days, and I
wonderful.
loved it in there.
It was just too big. It was so big. It was hard to get a sense of it with one view. But when you walk around it, it was great.
It had a tank with a mustache.
It had a tank with a mustache. It had a tower of 3 Goombas with mustaches. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really good booth. Just because you didn't like it, Rob.
No, what am I saying? I didn't.
No,
like
that's
it?
him.
What?
Don't give me that
It's
that
New
dirty look
Donk
there.
City.
I'm over here like championing it. I was
No,
like,
you got like a smug look on your face,
when
but I
do
guess that's
not?
just your
I'm
default
I'm
look.
slightly
Yeah.
drunk. So
Ooh, careful.
Okay, so
Well, wait. What do you,
I think
let's-
Capcom-
Steph's the one that yelled at everybody and said no.
What? You want to fight, Steph?
A little bit. I don't know. They didn't really have that much actually. It took like an hour to get into line and play anything. So
well, what are we judging it on now? Are we
Yeah,
judging it
yeah,
on like
Colin.
spectacle and thing?
I just think overall Capcom had the strongest overall.
I'll agree with that. With everything Mike said,
Yeah.
I like
Well, as
that.
far as
I
like,
was really
playable
impressed
games,
with
yeah, I
Capcom's
think
booth,
that
especially
Capcom
since
has
I
to
found
be good.
Capcom hugely disappointing last year.
Yeah.
They had like a handful of Street Fighter 4 things, and then a little judges podium to pose
Haunted house.
for
If
Phoenix
it was
Wright.
just based on like what cool stuff was at the display, then Nintendo would win all the time because they always have really cool statues set up every single time.
Yeah, that might
Capcom
be
also
an
had the statues. It had 2 statues for 2 different types of genres of games. It also had like a whole bunch of cool historical stuff. It had a whole bunch of cool merchandise. It had a whole bunch of cool playable areas. I just think overall it was a solid win.
Steph brought the pain. That's a good argument. That's a good
I can't
argument.
argue with that. No.
I'll have to go with Capcom
I got to-
as number one.
Yeah,
sure.
Capcom?
Capcom
All right.
won.
Capcom.
Now runner up.
Fine,
Xbox One,
Nintendo.
Xbox One,
Xbox
Xbox
One,
One.
Xbox.
Peach.
Peach. Runner up. What do we think? Nintendo?
It's either Nintendo or Xseed.
Yakuza
I
6
feel
got
like
pushed out.
as far as the spectacle goes, I think Nintendo had a better.
They always will.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more like Disneyland type.
It was great.
Yeah.
The huge screens and the huge, like,
All right,
they were
it's entered.
broadcasting
It's entered.
fights. Yeah, it was great.
Nintendo.
That giant Rathalos statue was.
This is another category that might have to be dropped.
Yeah,
I don't think we
no.
had any great titles this year, but last year we just had to acknowledge the fact that Breath of the Wild was an amazing title.
Yeah.
And so we had the best game title of E3 2016. But this also lets us use the worst game title if we
I really like that. Where the
Can
water
we
tastes
expand?
like wine.
That's a good title, yeah. But can we expand coverage for worst? Can we expand coverage to Middle Earth Shadow of War?
Shadow of War is
Shadow of
awful.
War.
Is a
What a
god awful
boring
title,
title, yeah.
and
We're gonna have a worse title, don't worry.
Okay.
But like
I like how you already know what it is.
we're at best title right
Slotted.
now. We're at best title.
Okay.
I really can't think of it.
I kinda like the idea of giving it to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Why?
I kinda like that.
For best
Why?
title?
Yeah.
Just
Why?
dropping the X.
Yeah.
Just dropping the X.
Well,
It's
Well,
not,
it's
though.
not.
it's no.
So what's the full title of Peach Peach?
Katie, doing it over this.
Peach
Splash. Come on.
We need a good. We need a good.
Splatatters.
Oh, what was that sushi game that was revealed?
Oh, yeah.
Sushi or
I
something?
hate you.
No.
I hate you.
It was Way of the Sushido.
Sushi Strike the Way of the Sushido.
Yes,
pretty
yes.
fun.
Strikers.
That, I
That's a real-
can't say
that's
that.
a real
I'm,
good name.
I'm
Yeah.
too drunk to say
I
that.
barely made it through it.
Yeah, that's
I need
great.
a map and a prayer.
Oh,
I'd be
what
okay.
about the fractured butthole?
Oh,
damn!
man!
But that's not new.
No, that's
Well,
true.
Yeah.
It was at E3 and it was prominent.
It was very
True.
fractured.
It was very fractured.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be the first time showing. That's a great title.
That is a great
Yes.
title.
It's a
But
real
I like
good
Sushido right now. That's up there.
But we cover South Park.
Yeah, we covered Breath of the Wild, and we shouldn't.
What?
You monster.
The one,
not
the one
gonna
game
get
in the
into
series
this right
that's
now,
really
yeah.
in our wheelhouse.
Why? Just because there's numbers?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, numbers and breakable, whatever. We're not
I think
debating this.
Fenner's going to get his wish, and we're going to cover Dying Light. Got really excited there.
Is that his wish?
Can we just give it to Breath of the Wild again?
Well, it
Still
was
not-
there again. There
Can
was
we give it to
DLC.
Rhino Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army?
Ooh, I love that title.
I would do that. I feel like we dropped this category.
Go back and cover.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
drop it.
Nothing really. Breath of the Wild was such an amazing title that we had to
I don't
acknowledge
feel
it.
strongly enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really feel anything. Okay, so we're dropping it.
Okay.
We're dropping it.
I don't know.
We're also dropping worst title then, or
Oh no, that's staying in.
What do you want to use so bad in that?
I don't know. We're gonna come up with something.
Oh.
There's a lot of bad titles.
I thought you had something in mind.
All right, now we're moving into the not so good category.
okay.
All right.
And the first one is worst game title of E3 2016.
Shadow of
I-
War.
I have
Assassin's Creed Origins says hi.
I think Days Gone might be worse.
That's a really bad
It communicates nothing, and I'm not even sure what kind of post-apocalypse it is from what it communicates.
Right.
It's
I mean,
I-
obviously,
my-
it's a
not-
leather-clad asshole.
it's not good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight to have it win this, but it's a bad title.
That is a really bad title. Last year, for reference, last year went to Warhammer 40k : Inquisitor # Martyr.
Yeah.
That's a really hard one to beat.
That's awful.
I
Also, can I have a special shout out or anti shout out to games that instead of having a new title, just try to reset their series title? AKA
Worst title,
God of
That
War.
needs to stop.
God
God
of
of
War,
War.
Yoshi, Kirby.
Well, Yoshi is
that-
called Yoshi pending title, so
yeah,
it's Kirby.
that's not really his
They're
title.
Well,
reboots.
really?
But yeah,
Well,
God of
then-
War is very
this-
good.
God of War should have been God of War: Shadow of Thor.
No.
Wait, did we give it? What was the runner-up last
God
year?
of War.
God of War, Son of Odin.
God of War.
Yeah.
God of War.
Kramer
like-
versus Kratos.
Oh, last year.
Last
Be
year's
treated-
runner-up. Last year's runner-up.
right?
Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage.
Do we drop this too? I don't know if we covered it enough. That was like
Yeah, we should
shit.
drop this category and just
No,
acknowledge there's a
hold
bunch
on.
of bad titles.
Hold on. Detroit Become Human.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
Detroit Become
I
Human.
had a whole moment where I was walking down a hallway and I kept thinking about it. I'm like, it's so literal. It's so literal. It's so
really bad.
I want to punch David Cage right in the back of his head.
I'm right
Yeah.
with you.
We have to give it to that.
Well, it's our turn.
I don't even have a. You're the one that's like anti-David Cage.
I-
But that title is terrible.
That is a really bad.
But that one
title.
didn't even make the top 2 last year.
That's because we had decimal points and hashtags and colons. All right?
One colon
We
is
all
fine.
have colons.
When you get into
That's
multiple colons is when you have a logistical nightmare.
I feel like Detroit has to win this.
Awful.
That is a really bad
I
title.
think Shadow of War is worse because it is the most generic sounding title in the world.
Yeah, but I love the
Yeah.
idea of giving David Cage an award, and it's this one.
If anybody's earned it, it's that guy.
Hey, I said on the floor that I wanted RPG Fan Razzies next year.
Oh.
Well, I
That's
think
what we're doing right now.
Middle Earth can be the runner-up, right?
I think Shadow of War is the runner-up.
Do
I
it.
don't know if Shadow of War is supposed to be a Shadow of the Colossus game, a God of War game, a Shadow of Mordor game.
Arkham game.
It
I mean,
communicates nothing.
If
It's just a
those
game with a
if
bunch of
those
ugly
Just
men.
destroyed.
see if those banners in the concourse hall were anything to go by, Shadow of War is actually a visual novel, and all your orc boyfriends get really mad at you.
I should say that.
That's already a game. It's called Tusks.
Wow.
That was a terrible movie too.
That was really good.
Wait, Daniel Radcliffe? No, what? I'm thinking of Warren.
That was...
No. The
Kevin Smith.
the Kevin Smith one.
Tusk. Yeah.
That movie
All right.
sucks.
And the thing,
Yeah, it does.
the weirdest game title Square had was Dissidia Final Fantasy NT.
Yeah, that's
That's pretty restrained.
Yeah,
for
that's
Yes.
restrained for
That's
Square.
restrained.
Because you know what? It's not Duodecim
It's
012.
also not great.
No, it's still not a great game.
No,
I think that's a distant third.
but it
Yeah.
doesn't. It doesn't
Eventually,
offend
make
me
a
like the
title.
others.
All right. Most disappointing of E3 2016. Now, this could be a wide range.
Okay.
We had the Final Fantasy 15 Titan demo last year.
The Aegis Rim. Sorry.
Aegis Rim.
That
biggest
is really
disappointment.
disappointing that we
Oh,
saw
yeah.
nothing for that.
No, I think Fenner's got to hold my hand on this one. No From Software title this year.
Runner up.
Yeah, but you're the only one.
I think that's a runner-up.
Runner up.
though?
Aegis Rim is on the badge this year, and that game has no presence
There's
outside of a
barely
selfie
anybody
booth.
even at the display too.
Yeah.
Because they had nothing to show.
Yeah, it's a trailer.
I'd say 13 Sentinels might win this, but
Yeah.
can there be
and
anything
most
else?
disappointing is that it was not. They had a robot cutout that was not to scale.
Do we want
What if
to?
it was to scale?
I'd be impressed.
How angry were you going to be at that game?
What if they're just a little bit bigger than us?
Yeah.
We never know.
I'm trying to think about other disappointing things.
Well, lack of Dragon Quest XI.
Yeah, that's big.
Oh.
Character design in Xenoblade.
Wait. Sony's press conference.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't
no.
hate it.
I know.
It wasn't for
The
us.
flashbangs.
It wasn't
man.
for
The
us.
flashbangs.
No,
It's
flashbangs
for the
were
normies. That's a
absolutely-
little
I'm
much.
going to. So I stayed back and watched the press conference, and the whole time, everything out of my mouth the whole way was, "I've seen it, I've seen it, I've seen it," except for Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
But that's still technically you've seen it.
Right, I've played it
Monster
twice.
Hunter World.
Like, yes, a Monster Hunter World, which was a genuine surprise. But we were, I mean, to be fair to Sony, the past couple press conferences have been bananas.
Yeah.
This press conference was just a repeat of old ground, and that really bummed me out. If they had, imagine this, if they had taken the PSX reveal of The Last of Us 2 and slapped that to the end of this press conference, first off, that sucks for Days Gone, but they end up having a great press conference. They needed one thing. They needed one showstopper, and they didn't have it. Instead, you had Spider-Man Arkham. You had...
Well, I think that's intended to be their showstopper.
Right, you have
But-
Days Gone, which can't decide if it's Horizon, The Last of Us, or any real hook.
Or Full Throttle.
Detroit.
Detroit.
This is going to sound strange,
Detroit is
but
really
I
good.
thought that the demos that they had in the lobby and the
Yeah, you liked
and
them.
the open bar and buffet were more impressive and
Wait,
fun
there was
than
an
stuff.
open bar?
Yes.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, there was.
No, we all paid for our drinks.
You did? I didn't.
I really
This
made...
guy-
I,
this guy
I
right
really
here.
made
Do I-
poor life choices.
Do I have
Was the
Sony
food
money?
free, too?
Yeah,
He
was
knows all
food
the right
free?
people.
Everything was free, Rob.
They had mini hot dogs.
Oh yeah, they had like chicken parmesan.
I made
sandwich.
very
And they
poor
still had
life
demos
choices.
too. So
Yeah, they had the
No,
same.
that was the funny thing about the Sony presser is that we went there and there was like the little pre-show area, and they showed off Danganronpa V3, Ys 8, and Dissidia NT,
and a bunch of VR
And Ni no
demos.
Kuni.
and Ni no Kuni.
It was way
we
better
saw all
than the
those,
press
and we
conference
got
itself.
there, and
It was
like,
better than the show floor.
Well, yeah, I was there and I was like, oh my god, they were right. Their Japanese games are here in a big way. I can't wait to see what else they reveal at the conference. And then we go and watch the conference, and it's like, oh, okay. But not to
Oh,
say, I still
Bravo
don't think that
team.
I don't think it was bad. Oh, that was crap.
Oh yeah, Bravo Team.
The weird VR, yeah, boom boom. Oh my god, and then the Activision thing. But I don't know if you guys saw the stream for Sony's conference, but they had the Activision, whatever it was for Call of Duty, whatever the hell.
World War II.
And like they had actual flashbang grenades detonating in the theater. It was deafening.
Yeah, and I had to look away. I
It
couldn't- I couldn't handle
legitimately
that shit.
stressed me out. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
There was no epilepsy warning, and
No, I have to imagine like people with serious PTSD would have been very
Yeah,
unnerved by
you
it.
could feel the heat on your face whenever it exploded. It was just very
There were
uncomfortable.
flames.
It was
There were
Yeah,
flames.
there
There were
was
jets of flames.
pyrotechnics at the
Yeah.
base of the theater.
It was
Flames
tasteless. Is
on
the
the
best
side.
thing.
They had the bit with the
It was
guy-
a K. Madeline kind of.
Whoa, whoa! You're saying
Frog
something
Booker.
Activision did.
Was tasteless. I know it's hard. to
All right,
say.
It was a very, almost exclusively violent press conference.
It was very
There
violent.
wasn't
So
any-
is that-
with a great lobby and buffet and bar.
What about
Stop rubbing it in.
Moss? Moss was very peaceful.
Many drinks.
Moss
in
was-
there.
It was a yeah.
Moss was a real cutie.
Yeah, Moss is looking good.
So
Yeah.
do we think does that beat 13 Sentinels?
No.
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 I think
Well, I
13
think that
Sentinels
no
not being
Xenoblade
that.
2 playable would have been another thing.
I think
that
Xenoblade
was
2's
pretty
art
solid.
design is a serious contender here.
I don't know, man. It's not.
It's existed for
It's
a
not
while.
what we
I think
wanted.
it's just like
but-
I think there's a difference between not to your taste and like objectively bad. And I would say that 13 Sentinels not having a presence was objectively bad for press and for people who are interested in the game.
Especially when it's on the back.
It's on the
It's
back.
on the badge. It had a
Yeah, like
pretty
any-
its display was like basically the entire second half of their display.
And it was
It
nothing.
was 3 little games, and then all of Aegis, and that's it. There's nothing
I would
to see.
definitely put forward 13 Sentinels for most disappointing. Runner up though.
Yeah, I think
I
that one
almost-
can't be disputed. I think we have to do that one.
Which one?
13 Sentinels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to bag on Atlas because we like Atlas.
Their booth was.
And
a
to
little-
be fair-
That's why we're disappointed.
It's not Atlas USA's fault. because
No, it isn't. No,
this
no,
game
but-
doesn't even seem to have a presence in Japan.
But
yet.
like,
Yeah.
if we wanted to expand it, like that whole wall.
Oh,
well, there was
yeah.
you could play Etrian Odyssey, but like Radiant Historia was technically there.
A trailer.
Well,
Yeah.
you couldn't play
SMT
Etrian
was
Odyssey.
technically
You could watch
there.
somebody play Etrian Odyssey.
No, some people were playing it.
Oh,
I was
really?
playing it. Yeah.
Um,
But I also think Etrian Odyssey doesn't demo especially well because it's all about map making and creating your own
That's
party.
fine.
So when you play
That's
through the
fine.
dungeon, it's like,
but then I guess the other two games are even in Japan. Maybe they're too early to show.
yeah.
Runner up.
Yeah, it should have been there next year. I think this year just wasn't the time for it.
Runner
Yeah.
up.
13
All three
Runner
of
up
those.
Sony's press conference.
Sony press conference.
I really hesitated on that one. I just
I thought that Bethesda's press conference was worse.
Theirs was
I-
terrible.
No, Bethesda's press conference needs a serious editing job, but getting Wolfenstein and hopefully a Good Evil Within both announced and both coming out in October. That's pretty huge. That's 2 game announcements that we weren't expecting.
Actually, though, weren't you kind of pissed about that? Because
I
they're
was gonna
coming
say,
out so
then it
close to each
wouldn't
other?
really-
Well, no, yes, I'm pissed like an old woman who's got a Virginia ham under her arm and she's crying because she has no bread. Yes, of course I'm complaining because I
That's
have
a
2
new
awesome
What?
things.
That's not a metaphor.
Is that an East Coast thing?
Has nobody watched The Sopranos? Somebody
I-
had to get that one.
No, I got it, but it still wasn't very
Yeah,
good.
I'm too young for that.
You know, it's not your best, but not your worst either. Alright, anyways, but I wouldn't throw the entire Sony thing under the bus because Bethesda had 2 good trailers-ish, maybe. Perhaps.
I would say Dragon Quest XI not being at the show.
Yeah, that's the. ooh.
Did we expect it?
Kinda.
It's out next month
Yeah.
Dragon
yeah.
Quest?
In Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay, sure.
Yeah, that's
No Dragon Quest 11.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
and
Yeah,
like
no Dragon Quest.
personally, no Seiken Densetsu collection.
No,
Yeah.
made
I
me
was
very
gonna say,
sad.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
I think that's a bigger bummer than Dragon Quest.
really,
Which one?
Because Dragon Quest. Don't tell me how I know this, but Dragon Quest 11 is definitely coming. Second Densetsu.
we don't know.
We don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they need to translate that. Yeah, it's sketchy looking.
Yeah, good point. So yeah, Dragon Quest 11?
Dragon Quest 11.
Okay.
No Dragon Quest 11 news.
Dracu.
There we go.
No Dragon.
All right, yeah, but I still weep silently at Seiken Densetsu collection.
We both
Alright.
do.
But
Excellent.
my
I
birthday's
think
coming
we
up,
were
so
gonna say that it was
maybe
gonna be
the
there.
Japanese.
This one we might be able to drop because we wanted to make punny names, and we also had to kick Nintendo in the teeth a little bit for Zelda. Biggest missed opportunity of E3 2017.
And what did we say?
Not
last
having
year?
a public day.
Ooh.
Not sectioning it off for public and press.
I think we'll
because
get to that.
I think we're gonna get there.
You
What-
say that, but we put this into our awards, and we can
What were the
you know
awards?
what?
What were the winners last
So
year?
last
Yeah.
year was
Playable.
no female Link in
Yeah.
Zelda.
Because we were all high on that idea.
Well, because they've been pussyfooting around it for 2 years. I actually used that language in the actual writing.
Yeah.
Like they kept saying, "We don't know," and it was like, dude,
Yeah.
come on,
No.
like
You
knock it
know.
off.
Biggest missed
Um,
opportunity is showing 13 Sentinels. We just
Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah.
that. I feel like that kind of lumps in. People could have
Well, then
had
we
a
could
chance to
switch
get
around
rid of
our
things.
disappointment then.
Yeah, we could rework
Or we can
it
just
to-
drop the category.
I don't think we need this category because there wasn't really a missed opportunity,
Yeah.
and again, we were looking for a reason to kick.
Yeah.
Because if I'd say missed opportunity, it's like a missed opportunity to announce Dragon Quest XI.
A missed opportunity to not
Yeah,
have,
it feels
so
it feels,
big. Yeah.
it feels redundant.
missed opportunity to have the Trico plushies last year.
I mean,
Aw,
I think we
cute.
should just talk about what it is rather than what it isn't.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but we had to kick him in the teeth for that last year.
Well, plus we wanted to bring up Son of War.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We had let's
God
go
of
through the
War,
list here.
yeah.
We had God of War Fatherhood, Dad of War, God of War Custody Battle, Kramer versus Kratos, which is still my favorite. the Last God of Us, God of War Skyrim, God of War Rise of Kratos, Chronicles of the God of War X, Rise of the God of War Hunters, or any potential punny title.
How
Yeah.
drunk were we last year?
not as drunk as we are
Can we
this
have
year.
like
I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, we were very sober.
can we have like a most chafed nipples category for Skyrim because that has been milked and milked.
I really want
I
to,
feel
but
like
Game
they even
Informer
know
did
that with
that.
how short the trailers have gotten for anything they show with it.
You know
now.
what this is already. You don't. And
I like most chafed nipples. I really, really like that category. I think Derek just made one.
Well,
And
let's-
if we're going by what they're doing for Fallout 4 VR,
Sure.
it seems like
Yeah.
Skyrim VR might be another $60 game.
It
Yikes.
is, yeah.
you can buy it again.
Bethesda just
And again, on
shaped
Switch.
nipples.
Yeah.
So Skyrim.
So what's the runner-up for most chafed nipple?
We're not. We know.
I like most chafed nipple. This is a good category. We need a rubber.
What else has been milked
No,
today?
that's
Comfortable.
Final Fantasy 12.
Oh
No.
No.
They
It-
did
it-
the same demo.
With that vest and
Yes.
that sandy barons?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Wait, Steph, what were you saying?
My-
They had the same demo for Final Fantasy 12 as they did last
That's
year.
all that bums me out. I think it's a big release. It's important. I'm glad it was there. It's too bad it's the same demo as last year.
I think it's different,
It was-
actually.
yeah, it was Golden
Last
Wars
year it was
Jungle.
like the mines.
Yeah, it was the mines.
They had the
This
mines
year
in
was Gold
Bujiro.
War.
All the
Yeah.
levels look the same, guys.
No.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. And it's a month away. It's going to be good.
So,
Yeah.
so any other chafed nipple category?
Uh,
I do like the idea of spanking them a little bit on Skyrim. Like that's.
Oh,
No,
yeah, they
I
need
think
to.
Skyrim's the runaway winner of this category.
Skyrim and Fallout 4. Just
Oh,
go
well.
full
Sure,
on with it.
sure.
you go.
Full on Bethesda.
Yeah.
Well,
Bethesda, yeah.
I know I keep saying it as a joke, but we could throw in the fishing game here.
I think the fishing
Oh,
game is
yeah.
a good
Oh yeah,
contender.
that's Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 15
That's
Yeah,
on our
it's
look.
like,
yeah,
come
that's
on.
And I like that bloody game.
Because
yeah,
I
me
like the
too.
game too,
Me
and
too.
everything
Wanted
else.
this, though.
Everything
They're
else so
really
far,
stretching it thin.
everything else to 15 has been DLC. It's like, okay, we're adding to the game. This is like, here, buy it now, buy a separate game.
Yeah.
Oh, is
For
it
the-
standalone?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
They haven't really said, but it
I
seems
think
like
it's in
it
the
is.
season pass.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's
You're right.
VR,
I don't
right?
think it is.
It's VR. I mean, at
Well, I
least
guess
at least on their press site.
My question is it something that do you have to own the base game and then buy this, or can you just
I have
buy
no
it?
idea.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
I know
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, who cares about the game,
All right,
right?
I've already entered it in.
for whatever it's
That's
worth.
fine, yeah.
We have
Skyrim.
most chafed
I remember
nipples for
people
milking a
laughed during the
franchise.
presentation
Yes.
too when that came
Yeah.
out.
Skyrim, runner up.
What is this?
Oh,
I
Fantasy
can't, I
15.
can't read what I wrote, but I wrote fishing, effery, and FF15.
Okay,
All right,
we can alter that later.
you like
but
that? We
yes.
like that.
Effery.
All right.
Effery.
Fishing
Yeah.
referee.
All right,
Effing Kamoshida.
ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the number one
Best or worst?
best of show.
Oh.
We didn't do a worst. Because that would just be Detroit.
Yeah.
Best
Obviously.
of show.
Ni no Kuni?
Ni no Kuni, yeah.
Really?
I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
it
it was
was.
so good.
I'm a little surprised.
The game was good. The presentation of the booth was really good. They gave
Yeah.
you goodies for actually completing the demo, and it wasn't just a pin; it was a steelbook.
Guys. Dragon Ball Fighter Z looked really
But I feel like for
That
best of
game
show, you
looked
kind of
really,
have to stick
really
to our
good.
coverage.
It looks amazing. We don't cover it.
I
I
also-
know, but I just had to say
I'm willing
Dragon
to
Ball Fighter
argue
Z
or
looks
whatever,
really
but
good.
yeah.
It is the best video game realization of the Dragon Ball fantasy that I can
That's
possibly
a
imagine.
really good
Oh,
game.
shizzle.
It looks exactly like what I wanted Ultimate Battle 22 to be.
Yeah.
Oh
20
my,
years
wow,
ago.
that is just, we're dating ourselves
Deep
here.
cuts.
That's a deep cut.
Was it the GT one or something? No, it was the 2D one, right?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say Nino Kuni. They had the
before
most for like display and everything.
But I would like to hear other opinions or
Yeah,
ideas,
for sure.
though. Yeah.
Oh man.
It was just such a rough E3 for RPGs. It was
It
really
was
rough.
good, but I mean,
Like Pillars 2 looks great, but you know what that game is.
Yeah.
Like you,
I mean-
I thought that game looks great, but you know what it is.
Same with Yakuza. Yakuza 6 looks awesome, but it's another Yakuza game.
Danganronpa looks great. It's another Danganronpa.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing. Same thing with
East
East.
looks great. Yeah, it's another East.
It's Salsetta.
It's fulfilling
Nino Kuni is
expectations.
just trying to change its genre a little
Yeah.
bit.
I'm surprised you guys
True.
aren't. I'm surprised you guys aren't stepping up for Stormblood here a little bit.
I mean,
Because it comes out tomorrow.
And it's already going to win an
Like-
award.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
what about Dissidia? Has anybody felt
Also,
Did
also
anyone
to
get
be
to play
fair,
it?
Not for best of show.
Stormblood wasn't showing off like the meat of the
Okay.
expansion pack. They were
Okay.
just doing one specific battle from it as like a weird E3 specifically tuned challenge. So
I
I
don't-
wouldn't say that was really on display.
I don't really ever feel
Um,
the need to fight for 14 because in a few weeks I'm going to write like 4,000 words about it anyway.
Yeah.
That
I
you've
would-
woken the sleeping giant in Mike Saldato.
I would consider
Uh,
Xenoblade or Monster Hunter World for this, but there was no playable demo.
Yeah,
And Nino Kuni 2 seems to really bring everything to the table.
it had a trailer
Oh,
and
Dissidia.
playable demos, so
Yeah,
they both brought
and a
both
big
to the table.
display, and it's exceeding expectations.
Yes.
I would say for Dissidia, I'm very excited about Dissidia, but I think they need to do a lot of work on it before it's
Yeah,
ready.
it's
Yeah.
really ugly right now. Just UI.
It's just too messy.
Its
Yeah,
UIs are
there's too
messy.
much
There's a lot going on, and like somebody like myself who doesn't have much experience with that PSP game, I was completely lost
Yeah,
when I
it's-
tried it
yeah.
out.
It's
And
built
that's
for
how I
arcades.
felt, to go back to what Solosi was saying a second ago. That's how I felt about Monster Hunter World. That game might be right up my alley, but that demo was like a complete cacophony for me.
Did it have a pretty busy UI? Because what they
It
showed at
was
the Sony conference
super
was not-
busy.
The UI had a lot going on,
Monster Hunter.
but it's actually less UI than another Monster Hunter game.
But like that,
Really?
I need to have a weekend, a cigarette, and like some scotch with that game to like really figure out the ins and outs like that.
We
To
can
provide,
give you the
to
scotch
provide
right
a
now.
little bit of personal context here, I'm a lapsed Monster Hunter fan. I played an
You're a
outright
reformed Monster
Yeah,
Hunter fan.
sure. I played a lot of it in the late 2000s, mostly on the PSP, and I fell off the wagon for a variety of reasons. But Monster Hunter World has me excited for Monster Hunter for the first time in 6
gonna
or
lose
7 years.
We're gonna lose them.
We'll see.
We're gonna lose them.
We'll see. But but again, it was unexpected, and I loved what I saw. But there was no playable demo, and it really seems like Ni no Kuni brought everything to the table in what impresses you at an event like E3.
So nobody's gonna argue for Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
There's
I'm
nothing
excited
about
by
It wasn't
that game,
really
but
there.
Not in
there's
comparison.
You watched 40 minutes of it.
Yeah, but you couldn't see it on the. You couldn't really see it. At
It didn't
the
have
show
anything,
itself.
everything else that Ni no Kuni did, though. It didn't have its own display. It didn't give you anything for paying attention to it.
It was announced during, or it was shown during the show, but not at the show.
Yeah.
Well, Ni no Kuni, I don't know if it counts towards our awards, but I was really impressed because I'm dating myself because of how many E3s I've been to. But Namco sometimes a new Xenoblade or Xenosaga would come out, and the only place it ever showed up on E3 was somewhere in the middle of a trailer on a TV in the back of their booth.
Yeah.
This time they had this giant space for the game. There was a separate photo booth. And I don't know when the game was announced, but like they've been quiet on it for a while.
It was announced 2 years ago.
Yeah,
they
and they're
just
like,
recently really
I'm-
gave it a big push. though.
Yeah, it
I'm
was-
really impressed.
It was completely
I'm
absent.
pretty
up
sure the
until
date
now.
for it actually
Yes.
was announced at the start of E3 too.
Yes.
It
Right,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
They literally put all of it in this one kind of show.
Yeah.
Yeah, after just being,
What's the
incommunicado
date for
for
it?
years.
Yeah.
November
November
10th or something.
All right.
And we mentioned this earlier, but it even had a significant spot in the lobby to the to the Sony event
Yeah.
on Monday night.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
really
That was the
pushing
first
it.
chance you
Yeah,
could
it's
get to
great.
play it.
Yeah, and we were impressed then too.
And it comes
Yeah,
out
we're
on-
kind of surprised. We're like, oh my god, it's playable right
and
now.
it's a PC game as well.
Yeah, it's on Steam as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And we
Also-
still,
I'm talking myself into this. Here it is.
I wasn't arguing with you guys. I was just really surprised, given the love of this site for Xenoblade. I was a little surprised that we're all.
I do love
and
Xenoblade,
I'm with you
but-
too. I'm a little lukewarm on it too.
There wasn't enough of a presence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it the max?
it's-
Is it because it doesn't have max? I feel like that's part of it.
Well, no, this is just part of what we were saying
Not
about
bad
when we
at
were
all.
talking about the JRPG category. Is that we had hands on Ni no Kuni 2, and we had an opportunity to see what it demonstrated that it was doing well for itself, and we were all very taken with it.
And still, we've only demoed really the battle system, when we're kind of just assuming that the overworld and the town structure and everything will be the same as the first
And
game.
visually, it's so pretty.
It is stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish there was something else to challenge it, but I mean, I think we need to face it that this year has really given us no, quite the opposite. This year has given us an amazing plethora of RPGs before E3.
Yeah.
Sure,
You
sure,
know,
sure.
we've had so many long-awaited,
Would
incredible
you say I have a
titles.
plethora? of
Yeah, a
RPGs?
plethora. I was going to use something much more crass.
A load.
Kiss load.
Kiss load.
We have
Logan
to
gets
figure
one.
that out.
A dung ton.
Persona.
But
So if we do,
I can't argue with Ni no Kuni. It
did it all.
they had a very good showing this year.
So runner up, I would say. Oh no, Colin wants to get in.
Yakuza. Runner-up.
Peach.
No.
Xbox One X, Xbox One X, Xbox One X.
X.
I would say Call of Cthulhu for me.
Sonic Forces.
We're not doing
Sonic
that. just because
Mania.
of reasons. We're not
Tokyo
doing that.
Xanadu shown behind closed doors to two of you for 5 seconds.
In Japanese.
It was.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
man.
I'm gonna give some love.
That comes out in like 2 weeks.
I'm gonna give.
It was a PS4 version. Which
Oh,
was
yeah.
in fall.
I'm gonna give some love to Call of Cthulhu here, and I don't know if it gets runner up, but that game is really trying something unique with that license. It's trying a different approach to RPGs. I'm very excited for that. It's got a really good look, a really good aesthetic. It seems like they know what they're doing. That game excited me in a way that I wanted to be excited about it when they first announced it. That game looks pretty impressive.
I'm looking forward to it. I still think it looks a little bit rough, but I mean, it was kind of slim pickings for our coverage this year.
I would
That's
agree.
one of the better things that I've seen.
I don't know enough about Call of Cthulhu to fight against it, but I would say Yakuza 6 is like the realization of what they've been trying to do with that series.
Like Yakuza 6 did not win action RPG. It was
Yakuza 6 made a really good impression on me. They've fixed that game in
Yeah.
ways that it's been
Yeah.
begging to be fixed for
Yeah.
a decade. You know, it's got, they've revamped the map, so it's like a GTA map where you can put map markers, and the cursor doesn't just jump around. You can just, move it with the analog
The
stick.
booth was good. They had the goodies as well.
Yeah.
It's finding
Um,
a new audience.
it's-
They got a huge push this year, and
You know I love Beat Takeshi. You don't have to fight any of this.
Buzzword seamless. Instead of just getting into random encounters, you can just run and jump kick some guys in the street
Yeah.
to start a battle.
I mean, if you want to talk about okay, I sound like such a dumb broken record, and I apologize. But you want to talk about a series that's correcting its mistakes and creating a more seamless environment. It's Monster Hunter
Monster
World.
Hunter.
I don't want to push for it to win, but because especially since it didn't have a playable demo or a public playable demo. But
It
I
had
was
a
so
really great trailer.
I was so impressed by that, and the live action thing the live demo that we saw was complete chaos with monsters eating each other and.
I'm going to
against
be
the
that
wall.
worst person who says Yakuza and Monster Hunter tie.
Mm.
You know what? That's true. Getting a playable demo by the game director.
That was
Sorry.
good, but was Yakuza 6 playable on the show floor?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it was playable, yeah.
but it is
I
a
would
treat
give
to
it-
have the series create one of the big head honchos behind the series actually playing it for you.
And man, the scene we saw was complete chaos, but it was
Yeah.
a T-Rex getting picked up and dropped by a wyvern while some kind of frog dinosaur went out to see what was going on and then was scared by the bigger dinosaurs and left.
Right. Well,
That was pretty cool.
the demo for Yakuza 6 was run around Kamurocho, which we've done a million times now, but it was done prettier and
It's Kamurocho at its best.
exactly, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so Monster. Okay, all in favor of Monster Hunter?
I don't feel strong enough about either, but
I don't have a dog in
I
this
think
fight.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that I don't want to argue the point of Monster Hunter World. Too
no, I
hard.
can be swayed either way though.
I didn't see the live demo
Yeah.
that Mike did, but the way that Mike described it to me, of all these different monsters interacting with each other and tracking them down
What
and
was
using traps, I gotta say that it sounds like there's such potential for emergent gameplay
Probably my
there.
favorite part of the trailer is at one point there's like some sort of grazing animal, and then literally a giant lizard thing comes out, bites it, eats it in one bite, and you see it happen with very little clipping, and then it kind of waddles off because it's just got an entire monster.
And then a few minutes later, you see the same monster regurgitate half of its meal for all of the other monsters in its pack.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
And
wow.
And also there was the older Monster Hunter games, you'd jump into individual maps and you'd have to load between whenever you changed zones, and there's maybe 15 zones in a given map. But now each map is seamless and prettier than ever, and is a more living ecosystem than it was before. And basic actions like gathering and climbing that used to take 5-10 seconds now take less than a second. And just little things like that made me excited for Monster Hunter for the first time in ages.
And it was a surprise.
I was so surprised that I care about this series again.
So we're saying...
Monster Hunter sounds... I think in terms of... Well, they're both very evolved, right?
I think they're both really strong contenders.
Okay, then would we be willing to also factor in Xenoblade 2, which not only revealed that it had British voice actors, a 40-minute trailer, and a new trailer.
And the action looks good.
And it actually looked good, and it's out this year.
I said the action looked good, but
it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
It does. I am excited about it, but
it had more of a presence than I expected.
Yeah.
I didn't think they would open the whole presentation with it and be like, "Here it is."
Yeah.
In English.
English.
It looked really pretty.
English, yeah.
English.
I think Ni no Kuni wins this, and Monster Hunter World is the runner-up.
Yeah, I would concede.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Because
I like
nobody
Yakuza more personally, but I concede.
Nobody in this room was interested in Monster Hunter until we saw that trailer.
No. Right. Especially when we thought it was the new From Software game.
Yeah, we got and that was like the biggest kick in the balls. But still, then we got a pretty good demo that made me interested. Yeah. So
I would be hard pressed to buy Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and I would definitely
perhaps buy this.
Perhaps be picking this up day one.
All right,
whenever that day one may be.
That's impressive.
So
you know what would have been funny if it was Scalebound.
Jump shit.
That's just funny.
That's just cruel.
All right,
I know. But then Microsoft would have had a game at the show.
All right, so the winner.
How do you want to do
The winner is Ni no Kuni 2. The runner-up is Monster Hunter World. I cannot believe I'm writing this. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the episode.
At least you see there's a method to the madness. We don't just pick things willy-nilly.
No, we argue.
Yeah, we argue for
about
hours.
this.
And we didn't even settle upon the Vengabus Award for most annoying song that Colin won't stop singing.
Thank you everybody for listening.
Bye!
We will have everything up for you very soon.
Oh God, Morty.
Take it easy. Oh God, Morty.
Boom.
Oh God, Morty. Oh my God. I need you to take these seeds.
Okay, turn it off.
Happy